Hello and welcome to another planning appeal case study video. I'm John Peters, and in this video I'm going to explain how we overcame a recent refusal by Buckinghamshire Council for one of our clients. This planning appeal was to overcome the refusal for an outline application for a new dwelling with a new access that was refused by the local authority. Our client was initially booked in for a free, no obligation consultation to run through the refusal reasons that had been used by Buckinghamshire Council and to evaluate if an appeal was viable or if an alternative option would have been better suited. The free no obligation consultation, which took around 15 minutes, found that the case was viable for appeal to the Planning Inspectorate, taking the decision process away from Buckinghamshire Council planning officers. This case was refused for the following reasons by the local authority. Policy provide in principle support for replacement dwelling in the countryside, provided that the replacement dwelling is not significantly greater than the size that the original one it replaces, and does not cause significant harm to the site or its surroundings. However, this replacement dwelling within the countryside, as proposed, would be significantly greater in size than the current dwelling, given its increased footprint, floor space and scale, along with provision of its own driveway and access within a rural location. As a result, the proposed development would appear far more prominent than the current dwelling house and would appear as an overly dominant, incongruous feature which would fail to respect the prevailing pattern and character of the rural area and would distract from the street scene and the character of the surrounding area. The proposed development is therefore contrary to policies and the New Houses and Towns and Villages Design Guide and the aims of the National Planning Policy Framework. The proposed replacement dwelling house of a much larger footprint and scale, along with the intended change of use to the land provided as a garden, would result in residential paraphernalia sprawling into the countryside. This, along with the creation of new access and removal of a section of boundary vegetation along the highway in order to create an appropriate visibility space, would lead to significant intrusion into the countryside in a manner that is out of character with existing build form of the detriment of the character of the area. The proposed development would therefore be contrary to policies and the Vale of Aylesbury local plan and the aims of the National Planning Policy Framework. A large part of the current open field will be lost due to the increased footprint of the replacement dwelling proposed and the associated creation of an area of hard standing and the access from the highway. Furthermore, in order to create a new access point with sufficient visibility space as part of the existing hedge and boundary vegetation to the highway would be lost. The proposal would therefore result in a lot of biodiversity. In the absence of any information to demonstrate the net loss in biodiversity and outline any mitigation, the application fails to demonstrate that harm would not be caused to the biodiversity of the site and that a net gain in biodiversity could be achieved. The proposed development is therefore contrary to policies and to the National Planning Policy Framework. As an organisation, we've been finding a large number of errors in local authority planning officers' decisions, helping us support our appeal cases. We do suspect this has been caused by cutbacks in planning officer numbers and unprecedented increases in workload. This goes hand in hand with clients repeatedly stating that they've had little or no correspondence throughout the application process, and the first thing they knew was receiving the refusal notice. Our specialist appeal team, who handle over 2.5% of all planning appeals in England and Wales that are currently produced and submitted, start by producing a comprehensive and robust appeal statement. In this specific case, it covered 35 pages. It's important to detail in the appeal statement where the local authority failed in their assessment of the case and how and where possible both local and national policy applies in favour of the appeal. Additionally, if possible, bringing in similar cases that the Planning Inspectorate found in favour of appeal. To put it into context, the detail required for this particular case was over 8,200 words. Once an appeal statement is completed, we send the document to our client asking them to check that they are happy for us to submit the case. If we need to add any additional information that the client may have forgotten previously to supply, it's done at this point and the case is then submitted. It's vitally important that all documents and responses are submitted on time throughout the process, as failure to do so will result in the appeal not being successful. Sometimes we hear about things like that happening when people attempt an appeal for the first time themselves. Always ensure you use a professional who has considerable experience in appeals. It is worth asking them for some recent successful planning appeal case studies, like the ones you find on our website. Due to the large number of cases we represent, we have a dedicated team that liaises with the Planning Inspectorate on a daily basis. For this appeal, an independent planning inspector from the Planning Inspectorate visited the site on the 13th of September, and we're pleased to confirm that the appeal was upheld and the permission granted in a 7-page appeal decision notice. If you'd like to find out if we can help you with your planning appeal, complete our online form on our website, www.planningappealsuk.com, and our new case support team will arrange for a free, no obligation consultation with one of our planning appeal assessment professionals. Would you like to find an appeal case study for a certain type of application, or even in a selected area? We have so many, and not all of them are published or filmed, but that does not mean we can't show you what you're looking for. Ask our planning appeal assessment professional during your free no obligation consultation, as it's highly likely we can show you what you're looking for. Thank you for taking the time to watch this planning appeal case study video, and I look forward to producing another one very shortly. Thanks. Bye.